In the last week of the monsoon session of Parliament, disruptions and bills being passed amid that disruption. A controversial bill to link voter IDs and Aadhaar was tabled today and passed in the same day in the Lok Sabha by a voice vote. This amid disruptions and MPs with posters of protest. Both houses were adjourned after the opposition, but the bill was passed by voice vote. Opposition MPs are demanding the sacking of the Union Minister of State for Home, Ajay Mishra Teni, after a report implicated his son. Meanwhile, a verbal splat between Samajwadi MP Jaya Bachchan and the Treasury bench's MPs. The Rajya Sabha was adjourned after that ruckus as well. But perhaps the most controversial aspect today was that key electoral reforms bill, which was tabled today in the Lok Sabha and passed by voice vote without any discussion. It will be brought to the Rajya Sabha tomorrow, where remember the fact that 12 opposition MPs are suspended gives the government the advantage in numbers.
मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हुआ, हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हुआ, प्रस्ताव स्वीकृत हुआ और विधेयक पारित हुआ.
Another reform measure cleared in the Lok Sabha amidst the din. The Lok Sabha gave the go-ahead to an electoral reform bill to link Aadhaar cards with the voter identity card to ensure there is no duplication of names in the electoral rolls. Opposition members, including supporting parties like the BJD, opposed both the bill and also the manner in which it was cleared.
All you are getting is a document that reflects residence. It does not reflect any proof of citizenship. And therefore you are potentially giving the vote to non-citizens.
आप इस तरह का कानून बनाकर इलेक्शन कमीशन के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडी में मदाखलत कर रहे हैं, उनकी ऑटोनॉमी पर हमला कर रहे हैं.
If the honorable minister wants electoral reforms, he should take this bill back, bring a comprehensive bill of entire all electoral reforms, talk about the women's reservation bill, electronic bonds, महिला रिजर्वेशन का बिल भी इसके साथ लाए. हम साथ में समर्थन करेंगे.
The government argued that the standing committee had already recommended the need for a law to merge the voter's identity card with the Aadhaar card, and these are long pending reforms mooted by the Election Commission.
पार्लियामेंट्री स्टैंडिंग कमेटी में बहुत व्यापक रूप से चर्चा हो चुके हैं और पार्लियामेंट्री स्टैंडिंग कमेटी ने unanimously recommendation किया है.
The opposition raised the following concerns to which the government responded. Privacy, government's response, it's not mandatory. Bogus voting, government's response, Aadhaar voter ID card will prevent bogus voting. Voter profiling, government's response, no provision to mine data. Bill brought all of a sudden, government's response, recommendation by standing committee, not all of a sudden. The government feels the opposition's criticism is not sincere.
विपक्ष की भूमिका बहुत स्पष्ट नजर आती है कि वो ना चर्चा करना चाहते हैं, ना डिबेट करना चाहते हैं, हाउस की प्रोसीडिंग्स में पार्टिसिपेट नहीं करना चाहते हैं.
The election amendment bill is slated for passing in the Rajya Sabha on Tuesday. While the government is confident of the numbers, the Congress has issued a whip to all its MPs to oppose the passage of this bill. The scenes in Parliament all too similar. Another reform bill, another controversy, another voice vote, and another round of confrontation between the Treasury and opposition benches. With Sunil Prabhu, Bureau Report, NDTV.
The big focus that for a bill as important as this, why isn't it being discussed? Why does it have to be passed by a voice vote? And today in the Rajya Sabha, again, ugly scenes as senior Samajwadi Party MP Jaya Bachchan speech was interrupted constantly by MPs of the BJP. Jaya Bachchan lost her cool and in an outburst told the BJP MPs that your bad days will come, I curse you.
आपके बुरे दिन बहुत जल्द आने वाले हैं. ऑनरेबल मेंबर, बहुत जल्दी आने वाले हैं. अगर आपके अंदर इतनी
You don't have to reply to him.
सर बात भी ना करने दें.
आप एड्रेस कीजिए शेयर को.
ना बैठे.
आप शेयर को
चलाई छोड़ दीजिए हम लोगों का. आप लोग चलाइए. क्या बोल रहे हैं आप? मत. What are you saying? Tell me what are you saying? Have the courage to stand up and speak and make such nasty remarks.
I don't want to make any personal comments on anyone. Whatever happened was unfortunate. They should not have spoken the way they did, and which got me very upset.
And that outburst coming on a day when her daughter-in-law Aishwarya Rai was questioned for over 5 hours in Delhi by the Enforcement Directorate. Arvind has the latest. Arvind, why exactly is Aishwarya Rai being questioned?
Sonia, the Enforcement Directorate, taking cognizance of the Panama Papers report, initiated FMR proceedings against Aishwarya Rai for setting up a offshore company in British Virgin Island. So, taking cognizance of this particular report, the agency initiated the FMR proceedings in 2017, though she was questioned, and she also submitted records to this particular company that allegedly that she set up in British Virgin Island in 2004. The agency chose to again summon her to record her statement under Section 37 of the FEMA Act. So today she appeared before the agency officials here in the National Capital somewhere around 2 p.m. From 2 p.m. till 7 p.m, almost 5 hours, the agency recorded her statement under the FEMA Act. So what is this case all about? According to the agency sources, Aishwarya Rai actually set up a company in British Virgin Island in the name of Amica Partners, where she also invested somewhere around $50,000 as a paid-up capital. So the agency is looking into the amount that was, the money that was remitted, transferred out of India, and also how the money routed back to India. So that's the prima facie allegation that the agency is looking into this particular case. Though the money has been, the company was wound up in 2009, the agency says that still that's a violation of the FEMA Act, because without necessary clearance, the money was moved out of India and again it was routed back to India. So now the agency has initiated a FEMA proceedings, which is a civil proceedings in this particular matter. So the agency has already recorded statement for almost 5 years, and what we are being told is that her statement is being examined. If there is any need, the agency will again call her for further clarification, and also if there is any need, they will record her statement.
Thanks very much, Arvind. It's interesting how the Enforcement Directorate suddenly has its focus very much on Bollywood. But let's go across the other big headline, and that, of course, is COVID and Omicron. And the initial signs are showing that cases in our metro cities are rising. So the latest number of Omicron cases in India is 161. That's as India recorded over 6,000 cases in the last 24 hours. But Delhi has 91 new COVID cases. That's up 33% in the last week. And the positivity rate is now 0.2. Delhi's highest COVID case in the last 6 months was recorded yesterday. In Mumbai, the highest daily cases in nearly 40 days. In Bengaluru as well, cases are up over 70% as compared to a week ago. Now, these are early signs which is giving the government and states something to worry about.
भारत में आज वर्तमान समय में 161 केस पाया गया है, और ये सीखने के बाद आने वाले दिनों में देश में कोविड क्राइसिस बढ़े और केस बढ़े तो उसके लिए भी प्रिपेयरनेस हमने पहले से करके रखी।
इस व्यक्ति में कोरोना है तो ये कौन से वाला कोरोना है? ये
all positive cases in Delhi to be sent for genome sequencing. This is what was decided at a meeting of the Delhi Disaster Management Authority today, a day after the national capital reported 107 cases, highest in over 6 months.
सारे जितने भी पॉजिटिव केस दिल्ली के अंदर निकलेंगे सबको हम जीनोम टेस्टिंग के लिए भेजेंगे। हम चाहते हैं कि अब बूस्टर डोज अलाउ की जाए, इस बारे में केंद्र सरकार परमिशन देता है।
Not just Delhi, number of COVID cases have been rising in other cities as well, with Mumbai reporting 336 cases on Sunday, the highest in 39 days. The bigger worry, rising Omicron among people with no travel or contact history. 11 cases in Karnataka reported in the past 20 days have no travel or contact history, hinting at a possibility of local transmission now. With rising Omicron cases and holiday season, states are announcing protocols.
वैसे एक SOP बना दिए 50% के, और 100 का है तो 50% लोग उपस्थित होना चाहिए। अभी आने वाला नाताल है, क्रिसमस है, वो लोग तो बहुत ही समंजस लोग हैं, वो नियमों का पालन पक्का करेंगे।
जहां तक 25 दिसंबर की क्रिसमस की बात कर रहे हैं आप, नई साल की, अगर न्यू ईयर पर हिमाचल में बहुत सारा टूरिस्ट आता है, तो हमने एक ही चीज को लेकर के कहा है कि जो हमारा एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है वो क्राउड को रेगुलेट करे।
अपने यहाँ का अभी तक रिपोर्ट नहीं आया है कोई पॉजिटिव। 10 लाख में जितना टेस्ट देश का एवरेज है उससे काफी ज्यादा हम लोगों का हो गया टेस्ट। अब हम लोगों का समझिए कि 5 लाख से ऊपर चला गया।
Travel experts say tourism will take a hit if Omicron cases rise further.
People traveling in India are not affected as of now. If something very big happens, then of course travel is the first industry to be hit.
Prevention is always better than cure. So while the concerns over a third wave of COVID-19 are rising every day, Only robust measures by the government and strict compliance of COVID appropriate behavior can minimize the damage. With camera person Ashok Mahale, I'm Akshay Dongre for NDTV.
And the markets hit as well with the Omicron variant fears, especially globally. The Sensex down by 1,190 points, closing 55,822. The Nifty also dropping by 372 points. The Sensex dropped 2.18% last week. Global markets also spooked by the spread of Omicron, which is impacting India as well. And just look at the global numbers, because that's really the huge worry. Again, Europe and the US hit hard. Usually India follows. So we're seeing there the highest number of Omicron cases in the United Kingdom is at over 37,000. The daily cases crossing 81,000. Then Denmark, Norway, South Africa. Again, the daily cases in South Africa, 15,465, where the Indian team is currently, and United States, the latest daily case at 72,470. That's down a bit, but remember, this is also the Sunday effect. And with these global numbers, the World Economic Forum at Davos' January meeting has been deferred. In Punjab, the mysterious cases of sacrilege and the lynchings of two young men in Amritsar and Kapurthala. Well, today the Punjab Congress chief Navjot Singh Sidhu said that all people who commit sacrilege should be hanged in public. This, as no major political party has come out yet to condemn the lynchings, and also the police investigation into who actually these two young men were seems to have gone slow.
In Punjab's Kapurthala, a mob jumps over the wall of a Gurudwara. Inside, police are trying to protect a man accused of sacrilege from the mob's fury. But in the presence of the police, the man is killed. His dead body driven away in a police gypsy. The police admitting to their failure.
बड़ी ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਪਿਛਲੇ 2-3 ਘੰਟੇ ਤੋਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਹੈ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਦੇ ਮੁਤਾਬਕ ਕਰੀਏ ਬਟ ਮੌਬ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਇਮੋਸ਼ਨਲ ਮੈਂਟੈਲਿਟੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੀਗੀ.
This despite the police themselves saying there is no evidence of sacrilege. If that was not enough, a top police official who initially said that FIR has been registered for the Kapurthala murder later did a U-turn after his press conference was interrupted by a phone call.
And if for the sake of दूसरी एफआईआर ਜਿਹੜੀ ਦਰਜ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਐਸਐਚਓ ਦੇ ਬਿਆਨ ਤੇ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਐਸਐਚਓ ਮੌਕੇ ਤੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਕੀਤਾ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹਜੂਮ ਇਕੱਠਾ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਹਮਲਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਡਿਊਟੀ 'ਚ ਵਿਘਨ ਪਾਇਆ ਔਰ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਹਥਿਆਰ ਵਰਤ ਕੇ ਕੁੱਟਮਾਰ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਾਰਿਆ ਫॉर द ਸੇਕ ਆਫ ਕੋਈ ਜਵਾਬ ਹੈ ਦੇਵਾ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਰ 295 ਇਹ ਹੈ ਡੈਸੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਲਿਖੀ ਅਦਰ ਇਵੈਂਟ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਤੇ ਹਮਲਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅੰਦਰ ਲੈ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਉਹਦੀ ਡੈਥ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ that is still under verification and law will take its course. If it appears to be case of a murder, then a FIR will be registered.
Even in the case of the killing of the man at Golden Temple, who was caught on camera trying to enter into the sanctum sanctorum of the Golden Temple and trying to flee with the sword put up there, the emphasis of the probe seemed to be on the sacrilege issue and not the killing, because the FIR has been registered for the sacrilege issue but not the murder. Though the state government has now set up an SIT to probe the entire sequence of the event to ascertain whether there was any conspiracy behind the sacrilege cases.
Top political leaders who have been highly visible in the run-up to the Punjab elections are yet to condemn these killings. Instead, State Congress President Navjot Sidhu has demanded the public execution of those accused of sacrilege.
ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਫਾਹਾ ਲਾ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਕਨਸਟੀਟਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਦੇਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ.
The only condemnation of the killings has came from former Congress President Sunil Jakhar.
इस किस्म की घटनाओं में जितनी निंदा की जाए उतना कम है. बहुत ही घटिया सोच और बहुत ही खतरनाक सोच का प्रतीक है ये जो बेअदबी की घटनाएं करवाने की प्रयास किया गया है.
His reasons for the political silence and police inertia is not hard to guess. The issue of sacrilege has been an emotive issue in Punjab triggering protests across the state since 2015, when a number of instances of alleged sacrilege of Sikh holy books was reported.
But there is a widespread belief that the state government has not done enough to punish those guilty in sacrilege cases, which may be stoking this vigilante justice. But that's not an excuse for the politicians or the police to come down hard on this latest cycle of killings in Punjab. With Ashwini Malhotra in Kapurthala, Mohammad Ghazali for NDTV.
Well, the other big political headline is the draft proposal by the Delimitation Commission headed by a retired Supreme Court judge, which is looking at the new assembly seats for Jammu and Kashmir. So the draft proposal recommends 6 new assembly seats for Jammu and only 1 for Kashmir. The Kashmir political parties have strongly opposed this, saying that this goes against the 2011 census, which shows that the population is higher in Kashmir than in Jammu. But the government says this is a completely objective report.
The Commission has also done a tremendous job, we must appreciate. They have followed certain laid down parameters on the basis of which they have come out with a document which is very objectively done. And all the associated members, regardless of their party or political affiliations, not only appreciated the work done by the Delimitation Commission, but also committed that they would, in future also, for the rest of the exercise, cooperate in all possible means.
We reject in total this draft proposal of the Delimitation Commission because it is not based on the mandate which was assigned to the Delimitation Commission. 2011 census has to be the base. We per se do not object which region gets what, but a basis has to be there. Basis has to be population. Yes, it is very clear the Commission has played games.
We'll keep tracking that story, but in a heartbreaking story coming in from Chennai, a class 11 student has died by suicide. In the note she left, she's written that girls are safe only in their mother's womb or in the grave. Her suicide was apparently after the sexual assault and harassment by a male 21-year-old college student who was arrested today for that. Her note, I said, making many questioning what actually is happening in terms of action being taken against those who harass young girls. There have been 2 similar cases in Chennai just in the last 2 weeks.